10 worst places to live in England, United Kingdom. Planning to move to the UK, it is imperative you make a research regarding the location, town or city where you will be arriving for study, for work or with your family. Before we arrive in the UK, we actually make the research regarding the northeast of England where we are currently staying, how safe it is, cost of living, racism, and otherwise. These are the things, the factors to be considered when trying to move to a location. Meanwhile, before this time, there are some of the towns in England that have always made it on the list of the worst places to live in England in the previous statistics. There are 3 places in Greater Manchester that have always made it to the top list, when it comes to the worst places to live in England. Places like Bolton, Rochdale and Oldham, they have always topped the list, And coming to this northeast of England, places like Middlesbrough is around the corner here. Hartlepool is also around the corner. These places have also made it. And Gravesend and Blackpool and Cosby. These places, they have always made the list in each year when this statistics is done. But interestingly, these places have listed so far, they didn't make it to this very year's statistics of the top 20 places to live in England, United Kingdom. So if you are unfamiliar or wondering how they usually come about these statistics about the worst places or the good places to live in England or in the UK generally, well, every year over 100,000 people head to I Live Here UK. Is a platform, where residents of a particular community and town, they go down to talk about what it is like being a resident in a particular place. Assuming now that I'm living somewhere in Durham, I would go to talk about, for instance, I'm living in Middlesbrough, I would share my experience of what life is like in Middlesbrough. So this is what they do, and this is how they usually come about the worst places to live in England on this platform, I Live Here UK. You might check that out. Okay, so in this very year, there are 20 places that topped the list. But meanwhile, in this content, I'll be sharing with you 10 worst places, yes, to live in England that made it to this year's statistics. Okay, starting with the list, Bradford is the number 10 on my list. Yes, Bradfordshire, it's a city located in the West Yorkshire of England, and it is the 5th largest city in the United Kingdom. Talking about why it is ranked as the number 10 in this year's statistics. So it's actually a good thing that in this year's ranking, Bradford came 10th on the list, because as at last year, it was on the 4th position. Now, there are a lot of good things about Bradford, which it will be of interest for you to check all this on Google. Yes, it's a vibrant city. I don't want to talk about the good aspect of it, but make this research yourself. So why exactly was Bradford named as the 10th worst places to live in England? Following the survey that they carried out this very year, it was claimed that Bradford is a city of extreme violent crime, sexual crime, murder, burglary, drug abuse, unemployment, because there was also a statistics that it's only about 65% of its population that are gainfully employed, whereas the other 35% are not gainfully employed. Make this clear, there are several other positive things about living in Bradford, because some of its residents also reported that it's a good place to live. Just like this man said, I live in Bradford and it doesn't deserve to be named one of the worst places to live in England. So despite one of the ladies describing Bradford as being hell on earth, another person also wrote, if you think Bradford is bad, move to London, see what happens there. It's a former industrial town. It might not be everyone's choice, but I like it. I've never moved back, and everyone seems to focus on the negative. This is why I say there are a lot of good things about living in Bradford. Try find out yourself. Okay, 9th in position is Bournemouth, located in Dorset. Bournemouth has one of the most beautiful seasides in England. Sadly, in the statistics by I Live Here UK, one of the reporters also said that if you want a good holiday, do not come here, in quotes. Because Bournemouth is the most dangerous city in Bournemouth and is among the top 5 most dangerous overall out of the Dorset 250 towns, villages and cities. The overall crime rate in Bournemouth in 2022 was 91 crimes per 1,000 people. In December 2022, Bournemouth has the worst crime rate in Dorset for bicycle theft. Bicycle, bicycle, anyway, there are a lot of good things about Bournemouth you might want to check out on the internet for the good side of living in Bournemouth, but I know cost of living is generally high over there. Number 8 on the list is Swindon. This place has been named as one of the worst places to live in England by its own residents, not by me, not by foreigners, but by residents of Swindon. Now, this was because some of the Swindonians, that is the residents of Swindon, actually reported that they were not surprised that Swindon made it to the list, being that the streets of Swindon were riddled by drugs and drugs addicts, and they also reported that intimidation on the streets is a normal thing. The 7th position is Andover. It has been named as one of the most depressing places to live in Hampshire. Now, Andover is also a town located in the English county of Hampshire. Its citizens also reported that the town is a place where dreams are made but will eventually shattered. Well, one thing I want you to hold on to is this. ilivehere.co.uk. It's a form of a satirical website, enabling residents of a particular place to mock, their town or their city. Not really mock, because these people are actually sharing their experiences, what they experience, the odds that is happening within the place where they are staying. And if they did not come up to say these negative things about where they are staying, there is no way the government could come in to tackle such crimes or such negative oddities in the area or in the towns. However, it can be seen as a satire, but in its actual sense, it's not a satire. These are what people have experienced living in places like this. Now, on the 6th position is a place called Aldershot. It is a former Victorian village just an hour away from London. Well, the place is popularly known to be a home to British Army, but it appears its residents aren't happy about the presence of the armies there. If you ask me, I wouldn't just know, because a place that is known to be a home to the British Army should be well protected, well secure. Maybe the residents are not happy having the armies and the soldiers hovering around all the time. Maybe they live in fear, or they are living in fear. That could be one of the reasons they voted it not so good a place to reside. But let's see. So one of the residents who owns a house there also reported that it's all horrible. It's all pocket of deprivation. The secondary school has repeatedly poor results, which reflect the attitude of much of its intake rather than the staff. Well, most of the residents also reported that the reason for the ranking is not clear as to why Aldershot would have been made the list on a 6th position as one of the worst places to live in England. If you ask me, a place that is known as a home to the British Army is certainly a safe place to stay. I would love to live in a place like that, because I would believe that, yes, British Army, they are here. So crime rate is definitely going to be at 0%. Nothing to be worried about. Yes, no theft on the streets. Oh my goodness, I would love to move to a place like that. Hence, security should be top notch. Oh yeah, how about you? What do you think? 5th on the list is Aylesbury. This place is in Buckinghamshire. It has been crowned the worst place to live in England. It took this title from Peterborough. Peterborough has got this title for 5 long years, but this time around, Aylesbury took that crown away from Peterborough. Now let's see the reason why Aylesbury has been crowned the worst place to live in England. From the reports, one of the commenters actually advised new arrivals to the town that if you are moving to Aylesbury for the first time, endeavor to invest in your own protection, saying if you are a middle to upper class family or an individual looking to move to Aylesbury, Then ensure you employ 4 full-time security guards, oh my God, and a dog, some barbed wire around your house. Oh Jesus Christ, what is happening in Aylesbury? Now, fourth on the list is a town called Slough. It's located in central London. One of the residents of Slough described it as a concrete jungle, a place unfit for dogs to live. However, there is always 2 sides to a coin. A spokesperson from the Borough Council of Slough also reported that we are proud of our town, which has great communities, businesses, and opportunities. Those who live here and get involved in things would perhaps disagree. It is in the top 10 worst places to live. A place is what you make of it, says the spokesperson of Slough Borough. Now, the city of Portsmouth has been ranked as the 3rd position when it comes to the worst places to live in England. The city has this negative perception as a result of increased crime rate, unemployment, increased cost of living, and social problems. However, in all, Portsmouth remains a home to the naval port. I still honestly want to go there to see all the royal museums, all the ships and all them stuff, beautiful things that make up the city of Portsmouth. Now, second in position is Peterborough. It has been ranked as the 2nd worst places to live in England. In 2019, 2020, 2021, Peterborough was crowned as the worst place to live in England. Fantastically, in this very year's statistics, it came 2nd in position. So this crown has been removed and given to another place, which I'll be naming in seconds. However, in this year's survey, some of the commenters actually reported that Peterborough is draining and it should be considered a dump, and however should have been destroyed during the World War II. In other words, some of the residents of Peterborough were actually angry that that is not a true representation of what life and activities are, in Peterborough. That if you look closely, you would find something very fascinating about life in Peterborough. And I've also seen comments by foreigners living in Peterborough saying nice things about the city. And finally, let's see who has got the crown as the #1 worst place to live in England. Luton is the place that has ranked first. So the poll that was conducted received a total of 105,598 votes, with Luton receiving the most votes. Moreover, there are major reasons for crowning Luton as the #1 worst place to live in England is that the town has a high population density, with many people living in cramped and overcrowded conditions. The town has also low job opportunities for residents and even foreigners in Luton. Moreover, new research by Shelter also found that more than 3,000 people in Luton are classed as homeless, making it the worst area for people without permanent accommodation in the east of England. Meanwhile, there are some other places that made the list, because usually every year they do the top 50 worst places to live in England. It might also interest you that a place like Reading made it to top 12th on the list, Birmingham 14th on the list, Liverpool 16th on the list. We have Coventry 17th on the list, Oxford 18th on the list. A place like Blackpool came 23rd on the list. Last year, it was among the 10th on the list. We have Middlesbrough, it was among the 10th on the list. But this time around, Middlesbrough here is 25th on the list. Plymouth, 26th. We have Sunderland, 27th on the list. Stoke-on-Trent, 28th on the list. We have Bolton, 34th on the list. Remember that none of the towns or boroughs in Manchester came among the top 10 in this very year's statistics. Well, however, the list can go on and on. You can verify this yourself by checking the top 50 worst places to live in England. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and do not be too harsh on me on the comment section. Besides, I wasn't one of the commenters. All these reports came from the residents of each of these towns or cities that I've listed so far. Thank you so much for your time once again. Bye for now.